There are still billions of dollars available for businesses through the Employee Retention Credit Federal Tax Credit Program. Stenson Tamaddon has helped companies with less than 500 employees retrieve over $3.4 billion in tax credits through employee retention credits. Call Stenson Tamaddon today at 866-934-8461 today to start your application. That's 866-934-8461 to apply. Call now.
Welcome to the AutoSuccess Executive Spotlight. My name is Brian Ankney. I'll be your host today, and with me I have Steve Roessler from DriveCentric. Steve, let's just jump right in. Can you spill the tea? What's going on with you? What's going on with your business? Share with us.
You're such of a Gen Zer. Spill the tea. Well, no, that's great. That's a great lead-in. No, I'm happy to be here first and foremost. No, DriveCentric, we're this technology company. We're in the CRM space, and we're going out there. We're I think really just turning some heads out there in the auto industry on the perception of what CRM should be. CRM just gets a bad rap. I mean, if we're 100% honest, CRM, they've been outdated tools for over 20 years. I mean, the tools that we're typically using. And the game has just changed. The CRM needs to be looked at today as almost like a chat tool, but all your communication and your engagement needs to happen within your CRM. So managers are now in the game. Mm-hmm. And really when we go out there and talk about like spilling the tea, it's more about measuring engagement much differently. All the activity we do should turn into an engaged customer. And if we're not doing that, we're not selling cars. Mm-hmm. So we have to be more engagement focused than data management focused. And I think a lot of those CRMs, when a dealer sits there and takes a look at what they're using today, you have to ask themselves the question, am I using it as a data management tool or an engagement management tool? And the progressive way of thinking is engagement.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. So so what you're saying is the KPIs that we used to look at aren't the ones we should be looking at today.
Oh, it's much different. I think the days of what is the right activity, I think if a dealer was go out there and say, like, for example, you worked at BDC, we were just talking about this, right? Yeah. And dealers today still say, make 100 phone calls and 50 emails a day and you've done your job.
Yep.
Right? And what does that get me from an engaged customer?
If nobody answers, it gets you nothing.
That's right. Statistically, nobody picks up the phone, especially an unknown customer with all these spam. And email is just kind of dead. I mean, I always tell everybody email is used for marketing, right? I don't think you're going to send an email to your friends and family saying you're going to have a Super Bowl party because you'll be an army of one. Yep. So you got to think about communicating with your friends and family the same way as you do your customers. And if you're not emailing your friends and family, well, why do you do it to the customer? Are they the enemy? It doesn't make any sense to me. But that's what we have to change. Is texting is the number one form of communication. Mm-hmm. Statistically, when we go in our CRM, over 80% of the incoming communication is all from the customer. And if dealers are not texting in their CRM, which is a major problem because it's hard to text in a lot of these CRMs, then you're losing that communication and you're no longer in the game. So everybody's on their cell phones doing it, and I can't jump in as a manager and be of service to my salespeople or my BDC.
Yep. There's a lot of talk today about systems integrating with each other and which ones do, which ones don't. Mm-hmm. What's the big difference between a system that is built versus a system that is integrated? Yeah,
well, again, if we look at the technology from years ago, mm-hmm. we all had a Nokia phone probably at some point in time. Yep. We all had a pager. We used fax machines, right? We had cameras. Well, iPhone comes out, Apple, and they develop everything all in one. So in a real world back in those days, if the Nokia talked to the fax machine, the pager, and the camera, what a wonderful world it would be. And that would be integrating different technologies all together. What we're doing at DriveCentric is the mm-hmm. technology and the code has improved so much that we can build on top of it like Apple did. So with these CRM companies, if I have a CRM and I buy, let's say, video, or I buy a system where I can track customers on my website, or I could buy reputation management, or I could buy chat, instead of having all these different tools and then integrating them in, mm-hmm. that doesn't solve a problem. Now, if it's built within the product works seamlessly, just like an Apple phone. And that's what dealerships have really been screaming about for all these years. I don't want to be managing in all these different windows. And, if you go to a dealership, I'm sure you can't go to a desk manager and not see 20, 30 windows open up on their Chrome.
Yep.
It's just crazy. So if we can eliminate some of those things and have the tool sing like it should, that's what the dealerships are asking for. And that's what we're trying to do. As a technology company, we're in the CRM space, but we're starting to build all these products.
All the other pieces.
So I don't have to buy another vendor here and then have to worry about it integrating. And when everything is built within, the product is just used more. Because like with video, and a great example is video. We were the first CRM out there with video. Now there's a lot of good video companies, and I don't ever want to downplay. Video is video, but if you're sending video, you're being more productive. And with all these other tools, there's a lot of steps to shoot a video and then make sure it goes into the CRM. With ours, it's a click.
Nice.
And you're shooting a video to the customer.
Well, if it's easy to use, people will use it.
That's the cliche.
Yep.
That's what everybody tells me. But, and again, just on the mobile app, I mean, you talk about it, if it's easy to use, salespeople today need to be more mobile. It's not all about being on the desktop. We had a 91% usage rate just on the mobile phone with our users. And that's what I would hope every dealer would want, is my salespeople way more mobile, so they're working not just at the store, but they can work away from the store. And they got to have all these push notifications and things like that. Just, it should feel normal to the everyday user.
Mm-hmm. All right, video is everywhere today. And, there's the good, there's the bad, and there's the ugly. And, what should dealers be doing right now to make sure that they're on the good side and they're not the bad or the ugly?
Well, I think this day and age, I think anytime we can send a video, we ought to be celebrating video at the dealership. It's kind of a good word to be thinking about, because look, as we start doing video, and even when I started doing video, I mean, believe it or not, I was bad at doing video. So it does take time, and you got to coach people along with doing video.
Yeah.
The thing that in this day and age, if the tool is simply used, the videos that should be very well thought of are going to be the more personalized videos. A lot of these stores will do what we call canned videos, where it's a one-size-fit-all video. Could be like a walk-around video, but I don't get to say the customer's name. And because the customers are buying cars so fast today, if I just kind of think about 4 days is my shopping time of buying, for these customers.
Yeah.
Why couldn't I say, hey, Brian, I know you're interested in this vehicle right here, instead of, hey, check out the vehicle behind me. Customers like to hear their name said. It's personalized, and that's the fun part about doing video, is you personalize that communication. As a salesperson, they know who they're dealing with. I could show the car, and I could give that customer a good buying experience, which in turn turns into a better reaction. And that's what video is doing. These videos that are more personalized are developing a customer reaction that is helping these dealerships get those customers into the store. And it's branding them much differently, not to mention branding the salespeople. So this day and age, I wouldn't say there's necessarily a bad video. I think not doing video is a bad thing not to do.
Yeah.
But as you grow and, just like me, get comfortable doing video, people will develop. And I think you're going to have some champions at the store, but more importantly, have some video contests. That's one of the things.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, like if we could kind of think of something like the Academy Awards, why wouldn't we go out there and say, hey, let's have the best walk around video contest. Let's have the best comedy video. What kind of video can we do creatively to have some fun? Buying a car should be fun. So we got to be able to shoot videos almost like TikTok to these customers.
You got to be entertaining.
If they're not entertaining, you lost the customer.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch a boring video on YouTube or on TikTok, right? I mean, let's just be real. That's where it's going.
Now, do you coach? Like, do you offer some coaching and advice, like to the managers, so that they can help develop their people to be better at video?
Absolutely. Yeah, we actually do a lot of training when we're going out there launching stores. We do have a video tutorial on teaching. Showing best practice of what videos are. It could be a dead deal video, the confirm appointment, a missed appointment video, the walkarounds, the internet lead videos. There's every reason to shoot a video, and there's every reason not to send that template. So I would much rather, given the data that you see with video, get rid of about 80% of your templates and personalize that communication through video, and you'll just win more.
You mentioned that customers are buying cars in about 4 days now, so they're buying faster than ever.
Oh yeah.
What do you recommend for dealerships to be able to do more with less and succeed in this current environment?
Yeah, well, just what we were talking about before, it's about engagement. And most of the leads coming in today are all going to be internet leads, right? The customers, they want to buy everything. That's why, you think of Carvana and you think of all these digital ways of buying a car. Today, the customers want a fast response. And we've developed some technology of artificial intelligence. We call it our automation hub, where, for example, stores with a BDC, and if you don't have a BDC, humans are not as fast as what technology can be to get that customer engaged. So if I can help a store do the heavy lifting and getting that customer engaged, that's a huge win. If you were on the BDC side, you got an internet lead, think of what you had to do. I had to make a call, send an email. Now you're being asked to text, and you also got to send a video, introduce yourself. There's like 4 activities, and you got to spray and pray to find out how these customers want to be engaged. So our artificial intelligence will go out there, which is true machine learning AI, can talk to customers about their lease, check the inventory, talk to customers about their credit, and as go far as schedule an appointment. So with stores changing their store hours, the AI can now be on point 7 days a week. You don't have to feed it. They don't call in sick. They don't quit on you.
The car doesn't break down.
Well, that's a whole nother thing. But the idea is technology can get that customer engaging your store so your team becomes a better responder. And to go back to your question, as far as doing more with less, every dealership's struggling to hire people these days. So if I can help provide a tool and technology to help get that customer engaging the store, and I can get rid of all these tasks, quit being a task monkey and be a reply monkey. That's probably what the stores need to hear. Because a customer that's sitting in your digital showroom talking to your store, I guarantee is waiting. They're waiting for a response. And nobody, you, Brian, if you're talking to Apple and you're getting Apple support and they're not responding to you in like 3 to 5 minutes, you're having a heart attack.
Yep.
And that's how customers feel today. And so we have to acknowledge the valuable term, digital showroom customer. And if technology can get that customer talking back to your store, now I'm having that visibility, and my BDC now can go from, let's say, 120 to 150 leads per BDC agent to 250 and 300. So yeah, I mean, a BDC, somebody that's handling 1,000 internet leads, you may need like 7 people. Now you may need only 3.5.
So the technology, like an internet lead comes in, the technology takes all these internet leads, reaches back out, touches them, and then the people that raise their hand, those are the people that the BDC people work with, the hand raisers.
Bingo.
Got it.
Bingo. Not to say you shouldn't chase after an unengaged lead, but a lot of the stores, because if we're acknowledging the fact that 70% of customers buying a car in 4 days, my question to the dealers watching this is, how far out does your unengaged process go?
Yeah.
If a customer's not engaged me in 4 days, why are you chasing ghosts? It's just a waste of your human resources. We need to do something different. We need to spend the time where customers are buying. And I guarantee if we take our energy and focus on that 70% in that 4 days, you will win more deals.
Well, it probably really helps your people too, because I know from my experience, if there's certain lead sources or certain, if you dial the phone 100 times and you send 50 emails and nobody responds, it's really easy to get into a bad mood.
Oh,
but
yeah.
if all you're dealing with are people that want to talk to you, it's got to be a heck of a much better experience for your employees.
Well, right, but think about this: is people go on breaks, people go to lunch, and the AI is always on point with 2 forms of communication: texting and email. So if I know in 3 minutes the AI is going to reach out and touch that customer, now I can make a phone call and I have time to send a video. I just eliminated 50% of the tasks. I know the AI is doing 2 of the 4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if there's email and text that the AI is doing, and then I want the humans to make a call and send a video, I'm helping the store out. Now, what stores have to do is they have to manage their business rules more appropriately, because I don't want doubling up my communication of email. Then I'm badgering the customer.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I got to get rid of my templates that are firing, things of that nature.
Yeah. Steve, we talked about how how you help dealers, use video better. With the TikToks, the TikTok generation, millennials and Gen Zs. I mean, are these younger salespeople? Are they adapting to it quicker? Are they better at it?
Oh, TikTok is taking over Facebook. I mean, if you take a look at the data from TikTok and what Facebook is doing, you'll see that more people are going towards TikTok. Yeah, everybody's a little bit different. You got to be comfortable on the camera, obviously. And there's the younger generation, the ones that are doing like these viral activities. It's just amazing what these kids are doing. But I think at the dealership level, if you have like one or two people that are doing a lot of TikToks, it'll spill over into other folks. And I'll be the first one to tell you, I didn't do TikTok up until 6 months ago. And now I'm doing TikTok because, well, that's where the younger salespeople are. More people will want to watch these fun videos. And if you think about what TikTok has done tremendously is they're keeping these videos short. That's the beauty of it. And I think if we can do a 30-second walk around video, that's kind of like been prime time, what YouTube has always said is good. So I think these, younger kids doing a walk around or leveraging TikTok, putting the music behind it, it's keeping the audience entertained. And again, when we're talking about video, that would be a good brand for me as a salesperson to brand myself with, so my audience watches all my videos. Now that when the time is right, that is an upstream marketing plan that salespeople can use to draw an audience in. And if they get a following, man, what a great situation. But I'll tell you even another thing that would be great is just talk about TikTok. When customers are coming in buying cars, one of the things, or when TikTok influencers are coming in buying cars, if they had like 1 million followers, 500,000 followers, what would that advertising be worth to have that customer experience tracked on video on TikTok for that dealership?
Wow.
And that's what dealerships don't ask. I think one of the things we have to leverage with video is ask, any of these customers, just in the buying process, what kind of influence followers do you have on social media? And if the number was 500,000, 200,000, I don't know what that magical number is, but why wouldn't we want to capture that and just say, hey man, maybe I'll give you $500 off this car if we could do some kind of video for this store and brand the store.
Yeah.
Because if they've got 1 million followers or, these crazy followings, you never know what can happen. This influencer that, bought a car from you, maybe somebody else will come in and buy a car. Or maybe you could leverage your dealership as a TikTok. Have a good TikTok contest. There's all sorts of great things that you can do with TikTok at the store level, whether you're buying a car, using it at the dealership from a sales level, but just going after a brand new audience. I think that's what dealerships really need to focus on.
In our fast-paced world, the environment's always changing. There's new issues to deal with. I mean, heck, we've got a half dozen of them that are facing our industry, right now. In this fast-paced world, what should dealers be looking for in the future to really give them an edge and give them the ability to prosper?
Well, I think some of the things we're talking about is leveraging your technology and start thinking in terms of a personalized experience. I like to think of this new term. John Taffer, I got to sit on one of his talks, and his big thing was develop a customer reaction. I love that. In Bar Rescue, he talks about everything that you do in the bar industry is all about developing a reaction. And I think in terms of that statement alone and how it applies to the car industry, if you don't develop a reaction to the customer, you don't sell a car. And let's just make it that simple. We say, oh, we have a great customer experience at our store. Well, how do you know? So the one that develops a better customer reaction and engaging the customer the way they want to be engaged, and also giving pathways. Right now, many dealerships, if you're going to be competitive, right now, everybody says, when can you come in? When can you come in, Brian? When can you come in?
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
When can you come in? Can you get, I don't know which camera I'm looking
5
at.
o'clock, 5:30, 6, 7:30? Yeah.
Well, what if we were to take a proactive approach and said, do you want to come in or do you want to do some of this online? Why don't we offer pathways to the customers of buying a car versus one way? And that's what dealerships have to think about. This day and age, the proactive way of, if I was a dealer thinking about this, is the customer has no control over the pricing of the car right now.
Yeah, none.
They used to, right? They had all the, okay. But now pricing It is what it is. But how the customer decides to buy the car is now what the customer is in control of. They have options. Now, if a customer says, hey, I want to buy this car 100% from home, well, every dealership can do that. Plus, I can offer a test drive. You know, that's why Carvana is doing so well. They've exploited what dealerships are not doing a good job in. So the dealerships that are progressive can start nipping away at that channel right there to offer the same service as what Carvana can do, but even offer a test drive. If a customer was to call me up, say, hey, I can go to Carvana, buy this car 100% online. Well, you can do that here at our dealership. You want to do it that way? We can do that. Why don't we offer that? That's how we have to be proactive to compete and to start taking the market share away from these digital retailing companies that are out there doing 100% online. There is a market for that, and unfortunately, the dealerships don't have all the tools in place to fulfill that need. And that's where I think dealerships need to start really targeting. How can I help do part of the process? If we know that 86% of the customers want to do a part of the process remotely, why don't we offer that? And it's because they don't have the tools in place. They don't have the right channels of the communication strategies. If I want to do live streaming, now in the CRM, you can do that. So if a customer said, hey, I'd love to see that car. Oh, hey, Brian, you got a trade? Hey, you live 3 hours away and you don't want to drive here for me to look at your trade? I'll tell you what, you want to do some live streaming? Let's offer that. Start being proactive to get that customer visiting your digital showroom instead of your physical showroom, because that digital showroom experience is just as important as a physical showroom visit. Because psychologically for that customer, you're making it easy. You're making it easy. And they're seeing you. People want to deal with people. They do. They want that personal touch. They just want it simple.
And do you think that the majority of the people that start the online process in digital retailing, I know there's a lot of talk about letting people kind of get off that whenever they want, you know, go as far as you want and then come into the store. Do you see like a big portion of business in 5 or 10 years going from start to finish digitally, or do you think people will always want to get off?
No. Well, I think every customer is going to be different, right? I mean, you and I are the older generation where I probably would still want to go to the dealership. Again, I mean, 10 years from now, I mean, again, who knows, right? Technology just is so fast paced, you just don't know where it's going to go. But I think obviously 10 years from now, more people will be buying, you know, more cars for sure on digital than anything else. But, you know, I mean, for me, I mean, I always like to drive a car. If I'm going to buy a used car, I want to know how it runs. And I think that's the beauty of what dealerships can do today. You know, going back to video, being able to do a virtual test drive. I mean, I know for, you know, stories. I mean, I always remember this one story a dealer told me. A customer was in, where were they? Pensacola, Florida. The store was in Chattanooga, Tennessee. He didn't want to go up and drive 8 hours to go do a test drive. So the store with the BDC and the salesperson, he did a virtual test drive. And they wound up meeting in Birmingham, Alabama, delivered the car.
Oh, wow.
Okay, because the headache for the customer was, man, I don't want to drive 8 hours and see if this is the right car. So they did it for him, and they sent him like 5 or 6 videos. It was crazy. I mean, I still remember looking at that. But I hear stories about selling cars to Hawaii. There's a dealership here in Ohio that sold 2 cars to Iceland with video. Wow. So the idea is video and these communication strategies are bridging the gap to fulfill the customer's need. But the digital retailing in our world is doing a part of the deal remote. That's how you have to think about digital retailing. If we think about just digital retailing as numbers on the website, that's all it is. Nobody is going start to finish today on digital retailing tools buying a car. They go on there, they want to know what their payments are, and then they send in a lead. It's a lead gen.
Yeah.
Now, if a customer wants to go through, now what the store can do with these digital retailing tools is offer with live streaming, like what we were talking about just a second ago.
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Customer, hey, I saw you went online. You were looking at payments. Do you want to do this all 100% online? We don't offer that. We don't offer that. But that's where the customer is at. But if I could share my screen with you, or you share your screen, Brian, I'll be your tour guide on how to buy a car 100% online. How would you like that?
Hey, sounds good.
That's right. Well, we don't offer that. So
Yeah.
that's what. So all the things that we talk about at DriveCentric is fulfilling a customer's needs and to get a better reaction for the customer, which builds a brand for the dealership. And you just got to have the tools in place. If you want to use a hammer and a nail, I'll get a lot more done with a nail gun.
Yeah.
So
Just want to make it easy for them.
that's all it's about. If you create simple and easy and use those words as part of your word tracks, the customer hears that. Oh, yeah, hey, Brian, we can make this so simple. You don't even have to come into the dealership. You want me to appraise your car? Anything you want to do, we can do a lot remote if you want. Now, if you want to come in, more than happy to have you come on in. We'd love to see you, but your time is most valuable, right?
It sounds like that process really removes a lot of the roadblocks that customers used to face. Like, oh, you got to come in. I have to drive your trade. You have to do this. You have to do this. Changing that entire mentality to, yes, that's how you want to do it? Okay. How would you like to do it? Okay. Yes.
And it starts
very positive.
It starts from the top down. If leadership is not on board with it, it won't happen. It just won't happen. It's like video, live streaming. We got to have some new KPIs out there, and you just got to. I like the word celebrate. We got to celebrate successes when customers, are buying a car without coming in the dealership. Tell me a dealership that's celebrating that. No, we're all celebrating a car that got delivered. But if we said like how many virtual appointments have you scheduled today, Brian, or this month? What if you said 20% of your appointments were scheduled virtually?
Wow.
Yeah.
And customers have to be more comfortable because, during the pandemic, everybody in every business was working on Zoom and working, we were all using Teams and Zoom. And so maybe where the people weren't comfortable with that technology, they totally are now.
Yeah. And dealerships think that when the customer comes to the store, they're more than likely going to buy the car because they're there, they're committed. And that may be still the case. But if you create the perception where, I look at like internet dating as like buying a car. How you engage the customers today, because the number one buyer right now is the Gen Zs and millennials. I heard a stat at NADA this past year. It was like 45% of the customers that are buying cars are the millennials and Gen Zs. I was astounded by that.
Wow.
It just grown, but I mean, again, that's the stat I heard. But I mean, Gen Zs don't pick up the phone, and they'll do things remote, and they like it simple. So I look at the demographics of the people we're selling to and kind of think that's how I've got to modify my process and offer a different experience to different customers. But I got to provide the options because, when I get that, let's say that internet lead that comes in, I don't know if that's, let's say, a 20-year-old or an 80-year-old or a 70-year-old, but every customer needs options. And I think that's what dealerships need to think about is how do I deliver multiple pathways of buying a car to make it seamless for the customer?
Yeah, let them pick the path they want.
Yep.
Steve, I thank you for coming onto the show today.
Oh, thank you for having me. Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to leave with our audience before we go?
Man, no, it's been a great conversation. I appreciate all the questions. No, I mean, at this day and age, I mean, what we're doing at DriveCentric is really help modernize the customer experience and give the dealer the options to offer those different pathways. I think as a technology company, we want to work with dealers that are technical. They're thinking technology, and they're thinking the CRM is the nucleus. We're here to help the dealerships get there. Switching to CRM, we know it's the head trash is going to be like, oh, I'm going to lose my data. And you know what? We do a good job bringing over the data from any of the CRMs. It's a big change, but it's also a culture change. And I think with this day and age, I challenge the dealers out there to be thinking about if you're going to change something like the CRM, what are you going to do different? Don't go through the brain damage of changing a CRM if you're not going to do something different within your process and to improve the customer's communication and the experience and develop a reaction. And that's what we take a lot of pride in DriveCentric is to really help dealers that want to be proactive versus the reactive market. And right now, because of the inventory, this is a great time for a lot of dealerships to kind of think proactively and to get those processes, those new customer experiences developed while inventory is short. And you can make a mistake right now and not worry about it, right?
Yeah, it's a good time to practice.
It really is. It really is. And that's what I always, people say, well, we're all selling cars, we're making a ton of money, I don't need to change. But as soon as cars come back, if you're not proactive, you're going to be left behind. Yeah. You'll be a year behind a lot of other people, So that's a great message just to give to everybody. We're here to help. If you are doing video, more than happy to always train a store. We do a lot of good video training, a lot of great examples. But we want to be known as a resource to dealers all across the country, whether on DriveCentric or not.
Thank you for joining us today on this AutoSuccess Executive Spotlight. Today's guest has been Steve Roessler. Thank you for joining us today, Steve.
Hey, thank you very much for having me. It's been a blast.
Yeah, I had a good time. Hope to do this again sometime soon.
You know it.
Thank you, and I hope to see you again on another AutoSuccess Executive Spotlight.